Ruby's little son, in a small, quaint village surrounded by rolling green hills and vibrant wildflowers, there lived a little girl named Ruby. Ruby had big, curious eyes and an endless imagination that spilled into every part of her life. Her greatest passion was painting. With no art supplies to her name, Ruby's creativity pushed her to paint on anything she could find: smooth rocks, broad leaves, and even old pieces of wood left behind by carpenters. She crafted colors from crushed petals, beet juice, and the rich earth, mixing them carefully to create hues that delighted her young heart. Ruby's family was poor, and money for real paints or paper was out of reach. Yet, Ruby never let that stop her. She believed beauty was everywhere, waiting to be seen and shared. One sunny morning, while playing by the riverbank, she discovered a plain, perfectly smooth white pebble that glistened under the sunlight. An idea sparked in her mind. With petals she had collected from yellow marigolds and orange lilies, she mixed her makeshift paint and carefully drew a tiny sun on the pebble's surface. The result was magical. The sun seemed to shine with a life of its own, casting a warm, golden glow. Word of Ruby's extraordinary pebble spread through the village like wildfire. People would stop and marvel at how something so simple could bring so much warmth and joy. The village elder, a kind man with a snowy beard and twinkling eyes, noticed the way the villagers gathered around Ruby's creation. He watched as smiles softened even the most tired faces, and laughter danced among the crowd. One day, a merchant passing through the village paused to see what had everyone so captivated. As he looked at Ruby's painted pebble, he felt a sudden warmth spread through his chest, reminding him of carefree days from his childhood. Moved by the little girl's talent and the happiness she sparked, the merchant whispered to a kind old man beside him, "She's spreading more light than a dozen lanterns." The old man, who was once a painter himself, approached Ruby and knelt down. He reached into his worn satchel and pulled out a small wooden box. Inside were tiny glass jars filled with vibrant paints and a set of brushes. He smiled gently and said, "Ruby, your little son has brought warmth to all our hearts. Use these and keep making the world brighter." Ruby's eyes widened with joy, and tears pricked the corners. "Thank you, sir." She beamed, hugging the box to her chest as if it were the most precious treasure in the world. With her new paints, Ruby painted not just on pebbles, but on the doors of cottages, on garden stones, and even on the village well. She painted little suns, rainbows, flowers, and birds, bringing life and color to every corner of the village. Wherever her tiny sons appeared, hearts grew lighter and faces turned to smiles. Over time, people from neighboring villages came to see the girl, whose painted suns seemed to carry real light and joy. They left with lifted spirits and a piece of Ruby's hope in their hearts. And so, Ruby's art, which had begun with a single painted pebble, became the light that kept the village and beyond glowing with happiness.